Well, hello everybody. This is the second time that we've presented in Göteborg, and we're very happy to be here. I want to thank everybody who's left. Take a big, deep breath. We're going to introduce Redwood Pharma, get you engaged, and I hope everybody on the internet who's watching us at home, that you're comfortable and ready to focus on our company at this point. What I'd like to first start out with is to tell you a little bit about the accomplishments that we've had the last 4 or 5 months. A lot has been achieved, and we've gone out with press releases just in the last 2 weeks of some important achievements. In Q4 of last year, we published successful results of our toxicology studies regarding our dry eye therapy, RP101. And we started production of GMP material for our clinical trial, our phase 2 trial. We did that at the end of last year. 2 weeks ago, we were informed by our licensor, Broder Technologies in the US, for the IntelliJ Gel platform, that they will be issued a new patent, another patent that will strengthen our IP. We went out with a press release the other day about a collaboration, the testing of our IntelliJ Gel platform by an Asian pharmaceutical company, and we also revealed that we had a successful meeting with the Swedish Medical Products Agency, which clears the path for the start of the clinical trial and the registration or the seeking of a start in the local areas that we will be performing the trial in Europe. So shortly, we will start the phase 2 clinical trial, and everything will be rolling then with the company again. A little bit about who we are at Redwood Pharma, why we have value. The last 7 years has seen an incredible interest, an increased interest in products, new products for the treatment of eye diseases, as well as methods of delivering active substances to the front of the eye. We have timed the market and the interest from large pharmaceutical firms really well. And we have a few assets here that I'd like to bring forth. The first is we have a drug delivery technology called IntelliJ Gel. It's a hydrogel system that we have licensed for all ophthalmic uses. The second item is we have phase 2 clinical data from prior clinical trials in the US in the testing of an active substance that's been proven safe and effective in treating dry eye disease in postmenopausal women. We're a company that has a team of experienced executives within the pharmaceutical area that have founded companies before and performed exits for investors. And we have 2 attractive partnering opportunities. First, around our novel dry eye therapeutic called RP101, which has a unique biological mechanism, a unique target patient population of postmenopausal women, and we're seeking to develop this through the end of phase 2 and then find a partner to take over phase 3 and take it to market. We also have the IntelliJ Gel drug delivery system, which we can develop our own products around, as well as out-license to another pharmaceutical partner who wants to improve an existing drug on the market or to develop new technologies around. A little bit about the company. Well, we're a little bit north of here. Göteborg is lovely, so I don't want to take anything away from your lovely town here. We were established in February of 2012. We are traded on Aktietorget. We are about 1,200 owners right now, or shareholders. We're valued around 90 million kronor, and are focused on the development of new ophthalmic medicines. And our lead product is the treatment of dry eye disease with a topical therapy using the IntelliJ Gel platform, a way of controlling the release of active substances to the front of the eye. And our design of our business is to use external expertise in terms of production, regulatory quality, and other specialized services. Let me now introduce to you dry eye disease, what it is, why there's a need, what we're developing to treat it, and what the commercial potential of both that treatment and IntelliJ Gel will bring to the company. Dry eye is a large area within ophthalmology. It's the 4th largest market segment of medicines that are used in treating eye disorders. It comes after glaucoma, age-related macular degeneration, or gula fläcken, and bacterial conjunctivitis. Then you have dry eye disease. And the symptoms there are wide-ranging. You feel a sense of dryness, a feeling of grit in the eye, foreign body sensation, it's called pain. There's a whole host of them, of symptoms. And in the people that suffered tremendously, those that suffer from moderate to severe dry eye, they don't have an adequate need today, or an adequate therapy today. These people can have difficulty in reading a book, driving a car, using a computer. And all they're left with today is probably a saline solution for their eye. And it's primarily postmenopausal women that are suffering here. And there's such a need for it that the US FDA declares it a serious unmet need. As I said, today's treatments are primarily artificial tears. This is a saline solution that you can buy at Apoteket, at the drugstore. And punctal plugs can help try to keep the tear film in the eye. In 2016, Shire launched Xiidra in the US, one of the first new products that come on the market because of this identified unmet need. It's very early in its introduction and has a long way to go. It does have side effects such as altering your sense of taste. Cyclosporin is predominantly the major player within prescription-based drugs. In the US, it's sold under Restasis by Allergan, and here in Europe as Ikervis, sold by Santen. Here, 20% of those people that use these products and cyclosporin have pain and other side effects. So it's not a solution. And perhaps cyclosporin only works against a very discrete 10% or less of the total population of dry eye sufferers. So here we see that patients with moderate to severe dry eye have a serious need. A little bit about the physiology and demographics. Dry eye disease is a multifactorial syndrome. What that means is that there are a lot of different types of dry eye. There's not one type of dry eye, and there's not one solution to treat it. There's a need for various types of therapies. And its incidence increases as you get older. And also if you find yourself in dry or warmer environments, it will present itself. It's also a response in terms of Sjögren's syndrome, which is an inflammatory response, which roughly is 10% or less of the total number of dry eye patients. But primarily, it's hormonal changes in and around the eye, in cells in and around the eye, that cause a large portion of dry eye sufferers. And so primarily, it's postmenopausal women that are suffering today. And this is exactly what we are working with here at Redwood Pharma, is to produce a new therapy that's targeted to this patient population. There are over 100 million sufferers of dry eye globally. This number actually can be, there are other studies that say it's much higher. This is a conservative estimate. In the US, there are about 6 million women and 3 million men who suffer from chronic, moderate to severe versions. And the National Eye Institute in the US estimates that there are roughly 3.4 million women that suffer from this very debilitating disease. So in terms of studies, if you look at these pie charts on the bottom, it's about two times more women than men suffer. And even though the majority of patients have the milder form where they can use tear substitutes today, there's this segment of moderate to severe sufferers that's underserved. Here's an enormous need, and we see that's primarily postmenopausal women, and here is the market opportunity for us. So let me tell you about RP101, our new dry eye therapy that we are developing in the company. It's based on two components. The first is an active pharmaceutical ingredient, API. It's a hormone. It's an analog of a well-known hormone that's found in over 20 different products globally, which means that it has the advantages of reducing regulatory risk, that is the US FDA, the EMA, they know the safety profile around this substance. So it reduces the development risk and regulatory risk for this project tremendously. And what we've acquired is the rights to data of the active substance that has been proven safe and effective in 2 phase 2 trials in the US. And this helps us in our development of our program. The IntelliJ drug delivery system is the second component. It controls the release of the active substance to the front of the eye. This is important here when you're trying to perhaps reduce the number of drops that you can administer per day, because if you can keep the active substance on the eye longer, it means perhaps that you don't need to add as much to the eye. These have perhaps benefits such as also reducing side effects of existing drugs. The IntelliJ platform in RP101 has been tested and proven non-irritating in both in vitro cell-based studies and in toxicology testing that we've done. And we have the exclusive rights to use this technology platform within ophthalmology. So these 2 components are what make up RP101. Let me give you some highlights of what's been done with the active substance in RP101. As I said earlier, we've acquired all the rights to use the data, the IND, from Nascent Pharmaceuticals in the US from 2 phase 2 clinical trials. What this does is it allows us to be very efficient in drug development. We don't need to spend a lot of time in terms of determining the clinical protocol. We don't need to spend a lot of money in terms of having a large clinical cohort, trying to find the right dosing range. We know exactly what we're going to focus in on. So this means that we can be faster in development and we can have lower risks. What was tested were 138 postmenopausal women, and we looked at different endpoints where the results showed that there was significant efficacy and safety in these patients with moderate to severe dry eye disease, and the eye drops demonstrated a good safety profile. What we're doing now with the IntelliJ platform is to be able to keep the drug on the front of the eye longer. The prior trials that were done was based on drops that were administered 4 times a day. Now, 4 times a day becomes a problem in terms of compliance. How many patients remember to take four drops? It's easier if you have 1 or 2 drops a day. And this is exactly what we're trying to achieve now with the IntelliJ platform. We're going to be formulating a solution without any preservatives, which is the current vogue within the regulatory community. We can eliminate, perhaps minimize any sort of unwanted side effects due to those types of compounds. And we'll be using a multi-dose container to achieve convenience and to help increase compliance with patients. The mechanism of action is quite interesting, and this is our proposal, that we put our solution on the front of the eye based on a hormone. The hormone then penetrates cell walls. It then triggers the production of the different components of the tear film. And this schematic tries to show that. On the right-hand side, you see that you have the 3 phases, the critical phases of the tear film, the lipid phase, the aqueous phase, and mucin phase. This is the first product under development that is targeted to this specific biological mechanism. There's no other funded program today on the market or in development that addresses the production of the tear film. The products that are on the market today are focused primarily on just inflammation, and they are also used to just perhaps help with symptoms, but not addressing the root cause of the dry eye, which is, in our case here, this biological mechanism. The prior phase 2B highlights are quite interesting. On the left-hand side here, you see results according to the production of tear film, AST, as it says up top. That means an anesthetized Schirmer test. It is a test of the quantity of tear fluid on the front of the eye. And what you see with the red line is that over a 12-week period, the amount of tear film increases. So we see that we can actually have a positive impact with our active substance. On the right side, you see a subjective measure. It's called foreign body sensation, this feeling of sand in your eye. And here we see that the lines go down. So over a 12-week period, we see that the symptom of foreign body sensation decreases. What a nice correlation. On the left, you see that we produce tear film, and on the right, we see that we we increase tear film on the left, and we reduce symptoms on the right. What we say here is that we can help then patients that are suffering from dry eye disease. And with pleasure, I can tell you about our clinical phase 2 study that we will begin shortly. It's focused on postmenopausal women with moderate to severe chronic dry eye disease, and we'll be measuring objective signs and subjective symptoms in patients. And there'll be 100 patients in 4 groups tested over a 90-day period. And we'll be testing in various clinics in Europe, this trial will be managed by Cross Alliance, which is based out of Switzerland, who has done prior trials within dry eye before. The results of those trials have been served as a basis for commercial deals with Big Pharma. So we're very happy that Cross is managing this. In our opinion, it increases the chances of a very successful trial. Our primary or principal investigator will be Professor Gerhard Garhofer from the Medical University of Vienna. And Professor Garhofer sits on as an advisor to probably most of the large Big Pharma in terms of regulatory aspects and development aspects of diseases that are associated with the front of the eye, as well as dry eye disease. So we're very grateful that he's on board because he can add value in our clinical development. Then we have the IntelliJ hydrogel platform, and this is the other asset that I talked about earlier. Drug delivery in ophthalmic medicine development is in vogue today. Companies want to perhaps improve existing medicines that are on the market or develop new technologies with an interesting system like this. It's a patented supramolecular smart drug delivery system based on poloxamers, and we at Redwood have the exclusive global license for all ophthalmic applications. It behaves like water at room temperature, but when it comes into the contact with your eye, the heat of the eye then causes a transition, and it becomes stiff, and then releases or slowly releases the active substance that's embedded in it. It has, because it sits on the eye longer, it means that it's bioavailable to cells in and around the eye, and it then can control or slow down the release of active substances. It's odor-free, it's clear, it's transparent, and it's reversible, meaning that if you were to take this solution into a warm environment and it would then stiffen, you could put it back into room temperature and it would release. So this is a very unique system. It's non-irritating, non-allergenic, and it's used in products or sold in dermatological products in the US and China today. But we are using it for the first time in the eye. This is an interesting slide in the sense that on the right-hand side and the upper side, you see that IntelliGel at room temperature behaves like water. But when it then comes into a warm environment, such as when it comes to the top of the eye then, with its heat, causes this gelation to happen. It stiffens. And then you have a mechanical hindrance, which then forces active substances to find their way through the matrix. And this in itself causes a delayed release. And we've done a test. On the bottom here, you see our active substance, the rate of diffusion compared in a study, comparing the rate of diffusion across a membrane in a PBS solution versus our gel. And what we see is that the rate of diffusion has shrunk, has lowered, and this is, to us, confirmation that the IntelliGel performs for us. And this is a great system as well in the sense that it is a water carrier and it could be used for other OTC applications, over-the-counter products as well. What gives us value and what gives us strength, freedom to operate, as well as to hinder other companies that are coming in and doing the same thing that we're doing. We have, through the license, through the hydrogel technology that has been licensed from Broda Technologies, we have then 2 US patents, one in the US, one in Japan. We have patent applications pending in the EU and China. Even though the active substance in RP101 is not patentable, as we will be the first product to come out on the market, we will have generics competition, or protection, sorry. And in the largest markets in Europe, you're talking about protection about between 10 and 11 years, and in the US, it'll probably be around 3 to 5 years. So we see that there's new patent opportunities with RP101, as well as there are new patent opportunities with the platform in new drugs. How unique will RP101 be when it's out on the market? Well, I can tell you right now. On the left-hand side in this table, you see all of the leading commercial products out there that are primarily focused on inflammation. We're the first technology that will be focused on a wide range of different signs and symptoms. The dominant product, as I said earlier, is Restasis, that has about 38% of global share. And then on the right-hand side, you see those lead products that are in development in phase 3. None of them are focused on our mechanism of action. So we have a unique opportunity here to have a product that will be positioned as a first hormonal therapy targeted to a specific underlying biological mechanism, as well as target patient population of postmenopausal women. So what's the commercial potential here? Well, we think it's quite interesting. Here we have, in postmenopausal women in the United States and EU, there are about 1.9 million women in both regions and countries. Our projected sales, if we look at what we could probably generate once launched, you're looking at comparative pricing compared to Restasis, and if you use a slight discount for the EU market, at 10%, we're talking about $500 million in sales. At 20%, we're talking about a blockbuster drug, $1 billion in sales. And that's what our commercial partner who will market this will get, and we will take a portion of that as well. So the business opportunities for the IntelliJ drug delivery system are quite interesting. We can potentially lower the dose of active substances, perhaps control the release of active substances over a period of time. This allows us to help improve existing drugs on the market, or develop new eye medicines with this platform. So we ourselves can develop products with partners in the areas of, like, say, glaucoma or bacterial conjunctivitis, or we could out-license the platform as it is to big pharma. And there you have a large number of players who are interested. We currently are in discussions with companies that are interested in both the platform and in our lead product, RP101. I'm not going to go through all this information on this slide, but I like it a lot because it says that as there's a lot of deal activity going on right now in this space, it's a ripe opportunity for us to out-license RP101 and find other licensing partners for IntelliJ in the eye space. Deals here have been going on now for a few years, and the biggest players in the market, Novartis, Allergan, Shire, they're doing deals between 50 and 500 million US dollars. So we've timed the market well. So with that, I'd like to round out the presentation by just saying that we continue with value creation. We have a unique treatment of dry eye disease with a known active substance. And this means that we can reduce regulatory risk, we can reduce development risk, investment risk, and be faster to market. All of this increases the value of our project. And as I said earlier, we have clinical data demonstrating safety from 2 phase 2 clinical trials in the US that support our trial. And I think that this is a really compelling reason why our success is tangible. So we have low risks and costs compared to other development programs. If you look at cancer, say, for instance, that use antibodies that have never been tested before in patients, we have a known entity. We have an API, an active substance, that's already been proven safe and effective in 2 phase 2 trials. The fact that other products that have tried to focus on specific other areas within dry eye, such as Shire Xiidra, prove we can benefit from, that the FDA, for instance, already understands which endpoints we should be focusing on. This helps us come very much faster in establishing a regulatory dialogue and parameters that will ensure the successful conclusion of our trial. This trial we will start shortly, and we will expect results within the middle of 2019. And lastly, without ongoing licensing discussions, this isn't as fun. And this is fun when you actually can talk about a project that is going to help people. So with that, I want to say thank you for listening. And also, if you want to get more information, go to our website, www.redwoodpharma.com. There's more information there. Thank you very much. Vi kan ta det på svenska om du känner det.
Vi sätter oss här.
Ja. Hej.
Hej. Ska du börja? Nej, ska jag börja? Ja, intressant presentation.
Tack.
Ni verkar ha mycket på gång. Kort sagt. Jag tänkte på det här med licensdiskussionen som du talar om. Vad är det för typ av... Vad är det för intresse de har när det gäller licens? Handlar det om att investera eller att ta hela bolaget? Eller
Ja. Man kan säga så här att vi har ju pågående diskussioner med många olika typer av läkemedelsföretag, alltså Big Pharma, stora integrerade företag som tillverkar, marknadsför och säljer, utvecklar också läkemedel. Sen har man mellanstora och mindre, alltså bolag. Och deras investeringsformer, de kan klart inlicensiera vårt projekt. Och titta också samtidigt på IntelliJ-plattformen. Så att de har inte uttryckt... det beror lite på vem man pratar med. Vilken storlek i bolag och vad de har för muskler. Och jag tror att vi har diskussioner där alla möjliga former av deals är möjliga. Mm.
Är det första alternativet att gå med en annan? Eller har ni en plan B också?
Ja, alltså vår affärsmodell är ju att utveckla läkemedel till slutet av fas 2. Och vad det innebär då att vi kan utnyttja vår kompetens som vi har i bolaget. Vi har jobbat tidigare med Pharmacia och andra läkemedelsbolag inom tidig klinisk utveckling. Om man ska ratta en fas 3, då behöver man en annan kompetens i bolaget. Och det finns ju en möjlighet egentligen där vi skulle kunna ändra vårt fokus och bygga en sån organisation. Men det är klart, det skulle innebära att vi skulle ju få lov att anställa flera människor och bli ett mycket större bolag. Det som är ju bra med den här formen som vi har idag, det är att vi är ett litet bolag som har få anställda, och sen använder oss mycket av externa expertis, och på det viset kan vi vara väldigt effektiva när det gäller projektledning, utveckling. Vi behöver inte ha en stor organisation med höga administrativa kostnader. Så det är en förtjusning eller en fördel i bolagets storlek just nu.
Det stora värdedrivandet framöver, det är det du ser, det är den kliniska studien då, antar jag. Behöver ni göra andra saker för att validera er tekniska plattform, eller vad man säger? Eller är det den som är det drivande framöver?
Ja, alltså jag kan säga så här, som jag sa tidigare, klart vi har vår ledande terapi, RP101 mot kroniskt torra ögon. Och i och med att vi har ju tidigare data från 2 fas 2-studier där vi visar säkerhet och effekter av den här aktiva substansen, så har vi då kommit en bra bit på väg. Vi har ju tidigare bevis från de här studierna. Samtidigt så har vi IntelliJ-plattformen som har använts tidigare, eller nu den används i dermatologiska produkter. Men vi kommer att utveckla vidare själva plattformen i ett läkemedel, i första läkemedlet för topikal användning i ögat. Och det är klart har sina utmaningar, men vi publicerade positiva toxresultat där i Q4, så vi känner oss vi är en ganska bra bit på väg. Utmaningen kommer att bli att också hitta andra projekt andra ögonläkemedel och som kan utnyttja själva plattformen.
Spännande. Det låter som att du kommer hit fler gånger.
Jag hoppas det.
Det blir mer att berätta framöver.
Super, det låter bra. Jag kommer.